Hi everyone, my name is Jenn Pelfini and my business is called Jenn Cuisine, and I'm going to speak to you today about kitchen and career transformation. So, I'm so excited. I have my husband and my daughter right over here on my side, and it's my husband's and I's 6th anniversary today. So when I signed up, true story, when I signed up for this event, he was like, that's our anniversary. And it also happens to be the Reno balloon races too, which he manages the logistics and the safety for it. So here we are at the Stylish Women's Expo. I'm super excited to be here. The topic I wanted to talk about today I feel is really important because especially as women, and often men too, it's not very, the kitchen isn't a sexist place. It's a place where everyone can have a place and enjoy. But women especially spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Is this okay? Can you hear me okay? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure it sounds okay. Does this sound okay there? Okay, good. And for me, the kitchen used to be a place of being a single person and being more of like a gourmet type of cook. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a gourmet type of cook, but everything I would make would have to be complicated and fancy, as my mom would call it, fancy, you know, special items that you buy at the grocery store, whatnot. But fast forward to becoming a mom, and that changes that game completely, because when you're a mom and you're in the kitchen and you have a baby or a toddler around you, it's next level kitchen function. So for me, what happened is, just a little background on me. I became a stay-at-home mom after spending 27 years in corporate America doing marketing for high-tech companies and very high-pressure kinds of jobs. So the world was very much about me, around me for a long time. When I got married, which was 6 years ago from today, about a year in, my husband and I decided to have a child. And around the same time I got pregnant, I lost my job. And this was like the 5th or 6th time I lost my job. And it was, you know, it was one of those turning points in my life where I was like, what am I gonna do? And my husband said, well, we're gonna have a baby and someone has to be the mom. So I was like, okay, well, then I guess maybe I'll try this whole stay-at-home mom thing. So we actually were living in the Bay Area at the time, and we moved to Reno. So we changed everything. We changed our careers, we changed our zip code, we changed everything we did. And with it, for me, it was a major change from always being on for 27 years, literally my life was always my job, to shutting everything down and becoming a mom. So that was really great, and just like how I would take a job and jump right in and not have training or do anything like that, just jump in and do the job, that's how becoming a mom was. It was just dive right in, do it, make it happen. And that was, you know, and that was difficult and hard, but it was really a great experience for me because being a mom was something I always wanted to be. But this happened just, my daughter turned about almost 2 years old and COVID hit. And for me, COVID really changed how I looked at everything, especially how I looked at my kitchen, because I was spending a lot of time in my kitchen. And we went from like going to get coffee and getting lunches out and stuff like that to stopping everything like everyone else did. So I was spending more time in the kitchen. I became just kind of sort of, I don't know if you guys ever been angry in the kitchen, where you feel like a short order cook and a waitress and all you're doing is servicing people and you're just like in production mode. Well, that's how I was. And I spoke to my husband, I said, you know what, I need a couple things in the kitchen. And I was one of those people that would buy very, very high-end expensive things. My husband looked at me and he said, well, there's no budget for that. So I got invited to a Pampered Chef party online, and I just was watching this Pampered Chef party roll around, and I was like, I need to get a lot more kitchen stuff. Like, my kitchen pretty much sucks, because when my husband and I got married, he had his stuff, I had my stuff. And then we also inherited a lot of stuff. So we didn't have anything that we particularly picked out or anything that we really liked ourselves. So I was ready to change up everything, but I didn't really know because I really believed everything I was buying was the best stuff and it was great performing. But once I started getting more Pampered Chef stuff into my kitchen, I had my first party and I got so much free stuff, it was ridiculous. I didn't know where I was gonna put it. It covered my whole entire dining room table. And then at the same time I joined the business because I figured I need something to do. I've been in business for a long time and I'm kind of bored, and my daughter and I need to have like some sort of separation of state. Like she needs to go like to school and I need to like go back and figure out what I wanted to do. But what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to return to the way that my life was. I didn't want to be quote unquote more owned by a company and a schedule, and I wanted to manage it myself. And it was really hard to turn down all the job opportunities that would come my way because they all looked amazing, they all were great salaries, but I knew there was a price I would sacrifice for taking those kinds of jobs. So I started thinking about myself differently, about what I could do that would, keep me happy in my career, but also keep me happy in my kitchen and keep me around my child. So that's how Pampered Chef entered. And as the more products I got in my kitchen, I would literally get a product and I would compare and line it up to another product that I had, and I would compare all the products, and they would stay on my counter for a week or 2 weeks, and I'd use them one by one. So one thing I realized through this process is that I had a very dysfunctional kitchen. So I had a lot of things, I had a lot of drawers, I had a lot of products, but I had a lot of things that weren't working really well. So what I wanted to share with you today are some tips that I learned about how to create a functional kitchen. And a lot of it comes down to understanding your space. So in a kitchen or in anywhere in your home, you have a lot of space, and you have to figure out how to use your space in the best way for efficiency. I call this thing, there's historical space and there's functional space. We all have historical space. Historical space is something that you've inherited or that you must keep, that you can't ever give away, and you're going to use it maybe occasionally or maybe never at all, but you need to keep it. So thinking about that space, and then thinking about what are the things that you need to use and grab here and there that need to be easy and accessible. So in order to understand how to best use your space, you have to understand what you have and what you don't have. So one of the things I like to talk a lot about is managing your space functionally. And what that means is I recommend that you do this every 6 months to once a year, is pull the things out of your cabinets and your drawers and take a look at it and see how it's working for you. So ask yourself several questions. Is it functional? Do you use it and do you love it? Does it make cooking or baking easier for you? And when is the last time you used it? Now, a lot of times we get into the holiday swing of things where we're producing a lot of things and cooking a lot of things. And we'll pull out the baster, and the baster, every Thanksgiving we pull it out, we're like, I need to get a new baster. But sure enough, you're busy, people are in your house, and it ends up back in the drawer. So this kind of takes that premise of taking it outside of everyday use and really objectively looking at your kitchen and how it can be better and more functional for you. So once you do that with whatever it is that you're looking at, you should also ask yourself, if you don't have a positive response to that thing, if you didn't have it, what would happen? Can you do it another way? And do you need to replace it? Is it burned? Is it scarred? Does it not function? And do you need to replace it? So when you're looking at your kitchen, you have to think about your time being extremely valuable. The time that you spend in the kitchen can be unnecessarily long and unnecessarily stressful based on what you have in your kitchen and what's surrounding you. A lot of people like to think that a clean countertop means a clean kitchen, but I would challenge you with that. I would say if you don't have things on your countertop that are easily accessible to you that you regularly use, kind of rethink that. Because the things that are at your fingertips are the things that are going to be your most helpful items that you're going to use to chop, to saute, to whatever it is the function that you are going to use. So think about functional efficiency in your kitchen, and also think about where you place your appliances. So I would say that a lot of people, or when you tend to move into a place, you put something somewhere, and then you're like, well, I'm never going to move it, and so you never move it. When you think about this functional inventory and functioning in your kitchen, think about, does it make sense? I'll give you an example. I have a blender, and my blender was in the corner in a dark space. I would never use my blender. It wasn't until I moved it to the other side of the stove where I could see it, where I would walk in the kitchen and go, oh, I'm gonna make a smoothie today. So out of mind, out of sight sort of thing, but also out of a functional space. It being in the back of the corner means I have to grab it out, I'd have to like move it, I'd have to like, plug it in. It was just not convenient, and it wasn't top of mind because it wasn't in my line of sight. So, those kinds of things are really important. Like when we tend to put our dishware in or silverware in, wherever it lands is usually where we keep it. The other thing about functional inventory too is going back to the whole counter example, is when you don't have things accessible, you don't use them. And a lot of the times that means you could be spending a lot more time doing things that could be really quick. The other thing I learned about the kitchen is that it doesn't have to be complicated to taste good. I'm gonna repeat that because that's really important. It doesn't have to be complicated to taste good. Any kind of shortcut you can make, any kind of thing you can make that'll help you along to make it easier for you is a good thing. The kitchen is associated with a lot of emotion, a lot of guilt, sometimes anger, sometimes happiness. And in my business, my motto is, my mission is to bring joy into your kitchen. Joy can look many different ways. It could be a new utensil. It could be a knife that actually cuts for you like you want it to. It could be a new tool. It could be an appliance you use all the time. So think about that. How to change your kitchen, how to transform your kitchen into a joyful place really depends on what you do and how you view your kitchen. We all spend a lot of time in the kitchen, some of us more than others, but we all do spend time in the kitchen. So make your time in your kitchen valuable. And I would say, like when I was going through my transition in my kitchen, my transformation, I was also going the transformation in my career, such that I realized that I wanted to do things different, and I wanted to be a different type of person. As a mom, I wanted to be available. I didn't want to travel as much. I wanted to own my schedule. So all things really came into play when I thought about how to transform my career. And the things that I thought about were really different than in the mainstay of my career. Different things were important. So my feedback for you on that is, don't take a moment and think about what it is that you love and what you want to do, and block out the noise that's around you telling you you can't do it, you're not good enough, I don't believe in you. And remember that you can do anything if you believe that you can do it, and it's really up to you to change what it is that you're doing, and that's going to make you feel good about what you're doing. We spend so much of our lives in career, so many hours, and it's really important to take a look at that and think about how that makes you feel. There's times we have to take jobs to make the money we need to make. There's times we need to do things that we don't want to do. But there also comes a time in your life where your personal joy, your personal self-care, and your personal happiness is more important than anything else, because it's going to flow around you. So for me, Pampered Chef was a part of that journey. I now have 4 businesses. I run a consulting business for marketing using my 27 years of marketing expertise. I have a hair business that I believe like good hair and good makeup makes you feel better about yourself. And then I also have an overarching brand that carries all my businesses. So I try to focus on things that are soulful, that make me happy, and that work around my family. And I'm here to tell you that if you want to do that, you can do that. You just have to decide to do that. So just like creating more joy in your kitchen, you can create more joy in your career by transforming it and doing inventory, functional inventory in your kitchen, but emotional inventory in yourself, to get yourself to a path where you feel good about who you are, what you do, and what it is you represent. Because at the end of the day, and this is what my other business, Jenn Living, is about, what you do defines who the person is that you become. What kind of person do you want to be, and who do you want to become? All right, thanks you guys for listening. Have fun at the show. I have a couple of offers. One is, stop by my booth. I'm offering 25% off everything that you buy with Pampered Chef. And I also have a raffle, so I'm going to be giving away some goodies. Enjoy the show. Thanks, guys. Go women! 12 minutes. That's long enough. Yeah.